Hey everybody, Mr. Covey here, and what we're going to do today is go over how to solve equations involving radicals. Remember, radicals is just a fancy word for square roots, or cube roots, or fourth roots, any of those, okay? So we're going to go over how to solve equations that have roots in them, radicals in them, okay? There are 4 steps here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll talk about those steps more, I think, when we actually solve a problem. So I think it's easier if we just solve one together and we kind of reference that these are the steps that we're following. Okay. Cool. Let's just do it. Dive right in. I want to start with number 2. Actually, no, I'm going to start with number 1. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Step 1 is to isolate a radical. Isolate meaning get by itself, and remember a radical is just a fancy word for a square root. So if you want to put a little plain English for what that first step is, it's get the square root by itself. Okay? If you look at problem 1, the square root's by itself. Done. Cool? So step 1 was done for us in this one. Step 2, write the radical as an exponent. Remember this idea that we've been talking about. You can change between radicals and exponents. A square root is the same as a 1/2 power. A cube root is the same as a 1/3 power. So we're going to change it from being a radical, from looking like this, to looking like an exponent. Okay? It's kind of one of the main reasons we learned about that, switching between radicals and exponents. Okay? So instead of having the square root of 3x plus 4, we're going to have 3x plus 4, and we're going to have it to a 1/2 power. We're going to rewrite the radical as an exponent. Step 3. Step 3 is kind of the key step. We're going to use a reciprocal power. Oops. Key word here being reciprocal. Remember, what does reciprocal mean? It means flipped. You take a fraction and you flip it. Okay? So you're going to put both sides to the flipped power. I'll show you what I mean. Right now, the exponent is 1/2. The reciprocal of 1/2 is 2/1. So what we're going to do is take our left side, and we're going to put it to the 2/1 power. And what that does is the 1/2 and the 2/1, they cancel. So it's a way of getting rid of the exponent, is putting it to the 2/1 power. And that cancels out the exponent. But you'll notice we put the left side of an equation, we did something to it. We put it to the 2/1 power. And so we have to take the right side and put it to the 2/1 power. Remember, 2 divided by 1 is just 2. So really, I'm just putting 5 to the second power. What's 5 to the second power? 25. Okay, that's kind of the key step there. How do you get rid of that 1/2 exponent? You cancel it out with a 2/1 exponent. But you have to do it to both sides. Okay? We canceled. We just did that. We got the exponents to cancel. Now, we just got to solve it. Do normal algebra. At this point, there's nothing weird with this equation. This is a normal old equation. How do you solve this? Subtract 4 from both sides. Divide both sides by 3. Regular old equation. And that's your answer. Yeah? There is one important thing you have to do, which is check your answer. I know what you're thinking. Nah, I'm good. I don't want to check my answer. No, this is different. You actually have to check your answer because it's possible that your answer will not work. Okay? I'll repeat this because it's a very weird idea. It's possible that you do everything right, but then when you go to check the answer, it actually doesn't work. You didn't make a mistake, you didn't mess something up, it's just that the algebra is kind of failing us. Okay? You have to check it. I'll show you. How do you check it? You do this. You plug in 7 for x, and you make sure that the left side equals the right side. You can totally use your calculator for this. I encourage you to use your calculator for the checking part. Okay? So I'm going to type this into my calculator and make sure it equals 5. Okay, I'll show you. Give me a second. I'm going to do square root 3 times 7 plus 4. It equals 5. I'm making sure that when I plug in this x value, the left and the right side both equal each other. You have to check, because sometimes it won't work. And we'll talk about that. I checked it, I'm done. Okay. Let's do number 2 together. Same process. I'm going to get the square root by itself. Done. Square root's already by itself. I'm going to change the square root to be a 1/2 power. Make sure you use parentheses like this. Okay, so I'm rewriting the square root as a 1/2 power. Just so you know, this equation is going to be a little harder. This is kind of a hard one. Okay. Now I'm going to cancel out that 1/2 power by using a reciprocal power, a flipped power. How do you get rid of a 2/1 exponent? Or excuse me, a 1/2 exponent? You put it to the 2/1 power. I put the right side to the 2/1 power, I need to put the left side to the 2. I take this part slow. On the right side, the 2/1 and the 1/2 cancel, and I just have 2x minus 1. On the left side, I have x minus 2, and I'm putting it to the 2/1 power. Remember, that's just 2. Okay. Now I'm ready to solve this equation. Be careful here. How do you do x minus 2 squared? You write it twice. Distribute it out. Combine like terms. Should get x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 2x minus 1. I want you to pause the video right now and finish solving this equation. This is like from last unit. This is a quadratic equation. It's got a squared. Move everything over to one side. Try and factor it, okay? Make sure it's equal to 0 before you factor. I want you to pause. Take a couple minutes, try and solve that equation, okay? Then pause and we'll chat about it. Okay, friends, I hope you paused and gave that a try here. Cool. So we were right here. Wanted to try and factor it, but it had to be equal to 0. So I moved everything over to one side and got this. Now I was ready to factor. We'll multiply it to 5, adds to negative 6. I got negative 5 and negative 1. Which means my two answers were actually 5 and 1. Cool. What I need to do now is make sure that I check them. In order to check them, you have to go back to the original equation, and you have to, check them individually. So I'm going to check 5, and then I'm going to check 1. Okay, I'll show you how this works. I'm going to take my equation. Here's my equation. Sorry, I forgot it. I'm going to check 5 first, okay? I'm going to plug in 5 for x. Pay attention to this part. People always mess this part up. It's kind of like the most important part. You got to check at the end. And I'm going to make sure that this side equals this side. What does this side equal? Well, that's just 5 minus 2. That's 3. This side, why don't you just plug this in your calculator, dude? Right? Square root. 2 times 5 minus 1. 3. Oh, good. Both sides are the same. That means when I check x equals 5, it totally works. Now I'm ready to check x equals 1. Again, I'm taking the same equation. I'm going to plug in 1 for x. What do I have on the left side? What's 1 minus 2? That's negative 1. What do I have on the right side? Type it in my calculator. Just type it in your calculator. Seriously, you don't need to. You don't want this to be the thing that you mess up. Type it in my calculator. I get out 1. Wait. Look what just happened. I plugged in 1. Okay. And on the left side, I got negative 1. And on the right side, I got 1. That doesn't work. That means x equals 1 does not work. It doesn't make the left side equal the right side. The left side was negative 1. The right side was 1. It doesn't work. And so what you must do is go back here and say, what are your answers? Well, actually, you only have one answer, because 1 doesn't work. You got to cross it off. The only answer that works is 5. Okay, it's a weird idea. We didn't make a mistake. We didn't do anything wrong. It's just that the algebra gave us 2 answers, but one of them actually doesn't work. Okay? There's a name for this that I'd like you to be familiar with. This answer is called an extraneous solution. What does extraneous mean? It means extra. It's an extra solution. It's actually an extra solution that doesn't work. So it's an extraneous solution. It's an extra solution that actually did not work that we have to cross off. Okay? Okay. I am going to do the setup for number 4 with you. I'm going to do a little bit of number 4 with you, and I'm going to do a little bit of another one with you, and then I'm going to let you guys finish those and check your answers and all that good stuff, okay? But I'm going to start out number 4 with you, okay? First things first, isolate the radical. Get the square root by itself, okay? Is this square root by itself? Is this thing by itself? No. What's keeping it from being by itself? It's got that 3 out there. It's got that minus 1 over there. I got to move those things first. Which one should I move first? The 1. So I'm going to move the 1 over. Is the square root by itself? Nope. There's still that 3 out there. How am I going to get rid of that 3? I'm going to divide by 3. And now I'm here. And now this looks a lot like that first problem. Okay? I just had to do a few steps to get the radical, to get the square root by itself. You guys can finish that one later and check your answers to that too. There's the answer key. It's got all the answers. Go. I want to get you started on number 5 also, just to show you how it works. Cool. If you look at number 5, it looks a little different. Actually, we can just solve number 5 together. It looks a little different and it looks a little scary. Okay? If you look at number 5, it's got 2 radicals. It has 2 different square roots. Okay, it's got 2 radicals. I know what you're thinking. Uh-oh, this is going to be like twice as hard or something. It's actually way easier. Okay, I'll show you why. All we have to do is get the square root by itself. Get one of the square roots by itself. Okay, so we're still following the same steps. Our step 1 is isolate the radical. We got to get a square root by itself. And if we want this square root to get by itself, let's move over that one. Okay, so I'm literally going to move that whole thing over to the other side. Okay? I'm going to continue to follow my steps. Make sure you're following these steps. This is one of those things, guys, where it's not really like up to you how you do it. You know, it's not like figure out a way. It's like do these steps. You do these steps, you'll do these problems right. Okay? Step 2. Write the radical as an exponent. Write the square root as an exponent as a 1/2 exponent. So I'm going to 2x to the 1/2. And I'm going to have x plus 1 to the 1/2. Step 3, use a reciprocal power. How am I going to cancel out that 1/2 exponent? With a 2/1 exponent. Now the thing that makes this one easier instead of harder is that look what happens. On the left side, that 2/1 exponent cancels with the 1/2 exponent, and I'm just left with 2x. On the right side, the 1/2 exponent cancels with the 2/1 exponent, and I just have x plus 1. Look. That's pretty easy how they canceled out. Now I just have a regular equation. How do I solve this? Subtract x from both sides. I get x equals 1. Not bad at all. So the ones that have 2 square roots actually are sometimes easier. Don't forget I have to check this. Let's go through that process again. If I want to check x equals 1, I'm going to take my equation. I'm going to plug in a 1 for x. And I'm going to make sure that the left side equals the right side. Well, the right side is just 0. Let me type the left side into my calculator. Square root. Oops. My calculator ran out of battery or something. Uh-oh. I have to get my mom to bring my charger. Oh no. I don't know what happened to my calculator. It broke or something. Anyway, I'm going to pretend that I'm typing in my calculator. I'll type in square root. I'm going to literally type this in my calculator. Literally type that in your calculator. It'll pop out 0. What does that tell you? It tells you x equals 1 does work. It makes the left side equal the right side, so it actually works as a solution. So then what's my answer? X equals 1. I'm going to do one more with you just for fun. I'll start it, and then I want you to finish it, and then I'll throw up the answer. Let's do number 9 just for fun, okay? Step 1. It's this radical by itself. If I isolated the radical, yeah, the square root's by itself. Step 2. Rewrite with a fraction exponent. Okay, I want to write the x plus 2 as a 1/2 power. Step 3. Use the reciprocal power. How am I going to cancel out that 1/2 power? With a 2/1 power. But if I do a 2/1 power on the left side, I got to do a 2/1 power on the right side. Or you get what I'm saying? Right side, left side. On the right, they cancel. I'm left with x plus 2. On the left, I have x to the 2/1 power, x squared. X to the second. And now I'm ready to try and solve this. This is algebra you guys can do. This is last unit. You guys did a good job with this. How do you solve a quadratic? Well, let's try factoring. In order to factor, I got to move everything over to one side. Now I'm ready to try and factor. What multiplies to -2 adds to -1. I got -2 and +1. You finish from here. And check if the answers work. See if either of them are extraneous. You finish it from here and check both of the answers you get. Okay, pause the video, please do that. And then unpause and we'll chat about it. Okay. When you solve this, don't forget you got to flip them, right? So the x minus 2 actually tells you x equals 2 is an answer. The x plus 1 actually tells you that -1 is an answer. You got to check them. When you plug in 2 for x, the left side's 2 and the right side's 2. So it works. When you plug in -1 for x, the left side's -1 and then the right side's 1. Uh-oh. They're different. The left side is not the same as the right side. They're different. What does that tell you? It tells you that x equals -1 doesn't work. It's an extraneous solution. Write that down. It's actually not an answer. It's An extra one that we got by mistake. Not really by mistake, just the algebra let us down. It's an extraneous solution. So when I go to actually answer the question, what is the actual, like, what's x? The answer is x is 2. That's the only answer. Don't say -1. -1 doesn't work. Okay? All right, there's lots more problems here I want you guys to do to practice. I'll leave it at that. That concludes this video. Thanks for watching.